What's up, you creepy ghosts and you crazy witches? Welcome back to I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. I just wanted to say thank you, as always, for listening, for rating, for reviewing the podcast. If you have not, please hop over to Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever the right terminology is for it, and hit subscribe on I'll Call You Right Back podcast. And if you're feeling generous, slide on over and just give me a little review. 5 stars, you know? If you don't got nothing nice to say, please don't say it, because I'm working my ass off over here. My throat is a piece of shit right now. I went to the Penguin game last night with Mikey and Big Bob for the freak show section at PPG Paints, and I was screaming like a wild banshee, like a haunted ghost. I was screaming. I was just, yeah! Just screaming the whole time, just beating a cowbell and trying to start a ruckus. And it turned out the Penguins probably heard it. They probably heard my cowbell because they fucking scored 7 goals on the Philadelphia Flyers. And I mean, what more could you want out of a Penguin game? The most sought after Penguin games to go to, Penguins versus Flyers, hands down. For me, at least. I mean, that's the tale as old as time. Fuck them, and we're the best, as usual. They haven't won a cup since 1975, and we won, 5 in, the last 20-some years, and it's pretty cool, and it's pretty, it's exhilarating to go there. But Mikey and Big Bob, every year, the Penguins team up with them, and they give them tickets to give out to some listeners to get crazy in Section 120 of the PPG Paints Arena. And last night we were there, and that is why my throat is hoarse. But man, what a great podcast we got this week. We have a very, very special person. My wife, Antonette Medved, I mean, technically she's still Antonette Russo, but Antonette Medved is my guest this week, and we talk about all kinds of great shit. So October has been busy for us. We went on vacation, so we talk about traveling over to Portland and Mount Rainier and Washington, and that was great. But then we dive into our favorite time of year. We talk about all things Halloween, all what we did this October, the haunted houses that we went to, how good they were, if they were worth it. We talk about the good movies that we watch, and we talk about just, the great things about Halloween and fall time. It's Halloween right now. Tonight is trick-or-treating, hopefully. I mean, I know it's supposed to rain. I know it's probably raining right this second while you're listening, but what is with this business of people postponing Halloween till the Saturday after in the daytime? What is wrong with you guys? Do you not remember walking around in the dark and trick-or-treating and having any sort of, spooky feeling? You're walking around in the dark, People have jack-o'-lanterns. You gotta light a candle to see what the pumpkins look like. If you're walking around in the daytime, it takes all the fun out of it. And it's a shame, because whenever it was Halloween, I was walking around in a fucking monsoon, and these little kids can't handle a little bit of rain. Come on. I think it's really the parents who don't want to walk around in the rain. So you guys better put a fucking trash bag on, get your kid out there, and you better take them to get some candy. This month, we talked to Kevin Drobish, we talked to Bobby Cranmer, we talked to Leslie Gray, and we talked to, them 3. But, I thought it was a pretty spooky month. It was great, and I wanted to kind of come full circle with my wife. So without further ado, episode 93 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with my wife, Antonette Russo. Antonette Medved, I guess.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast.
Yeah, and I'm going to lean on the table.
All right, well, the microphone got to be up close to your mouth. So
Is it not close enough?
Well, now it is, but it wasn't before.
Okay, well, it was going to be.
All right, just give me a second. Do I hear like a buzzing or
Unique New York. Unique New York.
Unique New York? What did you say about my page?
You said that you were prepared with notes, but that's a blank sheet of paper.
That's for time code in case you stutter.
Did I stutter?
I have a bunch of notes, actually. Thank you. But we are here. We made it to the end of October. We made it through the ghosts and the ghouls and the mediums and all the interesting people that we had on. I guess it's only 4 episodes. It's not like
made it through all the interesting people, and now you got the least interesting person.
No, you're interesting. But October is obviously, it's obviously Halloween for people that are listening. Every year, I say every year, this is only my second year doing it, but I will be doing every year all spooky episodes during October. And we had an awesome, everything was awesome this October, even for the podcast and for me and you.
Yeah.
We did a lot of cool shit. But I wanted to have you on to close out the spooky, the spooky month.
Yeah.
You're a Halloween person. You've
and breathe for it.
You've always been a Halloween person, so I figured who would be better than to have on you. This is your 3rd time on.
Number 3, third time's a charm.
You're the most revisited guest on I'll Call You Right Back podcast. How do you feel about that?
It's because it's convenient.
It's
because I'm here.
No, it ain't.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh, this was the plan all along.
Okay.
Even if Tom Savini did hit me back, I was going to be like, no, sir, my wife is for Halloween.
I'm sure.
No, I would have definitely talked to him in a heartbeat. But, the old man, he's probably busy making fucking masks for Corey Taylor from Slipknot. Did you listen to Slipknot when you were younger?
No.
Never?
Mm-mm. I think my cousin Joey did, and he probably made me listen to them.
Now, whenever you're the oldest of all your cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where did you get your music taste from, do you think?
100% my cousin Joey.
All of them?
All of them. But he introduced me to the stuff that made me listen to the other stuff that I listened to.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, here's this band called 30 Seconds to Mars. And I was like, what?
Oh, he showed you that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like once I fell in love with that, then I fell in love with all the other emo stuff that was going on at the time.
So 30 Seconds to Mars you would consider like massively emo?
No, but they were one of the first emo bands that made it pretty big.
Yeah, you're right. Back then they were wearing eyeliner and
oh hell yeah, dyeing their hair black with the swoop and everything.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I was never
he made me listen to Atreyu and all that.
Yeah, they just
stuff
had
that
their
was a little
20th
bit heavier
anniversary.
that I didn't I didn't fall into loving all the heavy stuff eventually, but I never would have listened to it if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, you were kind of down that path of the emo realm. But it's interesting about 30 Seconds to Mars because I was never a huge fan in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But I knew...
But you like Jared Leto as an actor, right?
That's what I mean. I liked... I knew of their hit songs, but I feel like I was one of them people that did not know that Jared Leto, the actor... was the lead singer of that.
See, I was opposite. I only knew him as the singer of 30 Seconds to Mars, and then I found out that he was an actor. I feel like I don't care for his acting that much.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know.
Okay.
You love it.
We watched Dallas Buyers Club. That was one of the best movies. That was with...
I don't even remember him in that.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. Whenever Matthew McConaughey was all skinny and he was selling all them pharmaceutical
I remember the
pills.
movie, but I don't remember Jared Leto being in it.
Jared Leto was his... I guess they were gay. Matthew McConaughey was that cowboy who said that he wasn't or anything like that. But Jared Leto was I don't know if he dressed like a woman though, but he had AIDS in that.
I remember now.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
But he was incredible in that.
Mm-hmm.
Requiem for a Dream. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
See, that movie was crazy intense and
that was one of the scariest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
Me and my brother used to say that they should show that in health classes.
They sure should before you ever even touch anything.
Yeah, especially
don't even touch weed, nothing. Don't touch it.
That's an intense movie, and because my brother was 6 years older, it's I started watching all this shit way way before I should have.
Oh yeah, because
he would just come home with like
put you down a
terabyte full of like downloaded shit, and just let me like dive into it. Like he was the first person who showed me Mayday Parade.
Matt did?
100%. Yeah, very, very bizarre because
Who else was he listening to?
Everything. That's what I mean. Whenever he was in college, what he would do, like he was always been on like the beginning of, like the online streaming music. Like I remember having like Napster in the beginning. Like he had Winamp and he would always download shit.
Yeah.
He was always into all that stuff. But even in high school, or whenever I was, so if he was in college.
Didn't he work at that skate shop and everything? Or?
No, he worked at a t-shirt shop.
A t-shirt shop.
But I mean, like same vibe. Same type of vibe. But like.
Where like people who were listening to that shit were coming in
100%.
and talking about it.
But the thing that was cool that he did was whenever he'd be up in college at Penn State, he would just like download whole people's libraries. So like he would
introduce himself to that music that way.
Yeah, like before I knew of anyone having like external hard drives and like like big massive like portable storage, like my brother did for some weird reason. Like he was always into like, I remember he had this crazy computer whenever he graduated, and like he would just come home and there'd be fucking.
That's because he's an engineer.
Yeah, he'd be like, check out these video games I downloaded. Like he had this game called Unreal Tournament that was like a computer game that was so wild. But I guess like him and all of his friends played. But he would have these crazy endless pools of like music and movies. So like I'm talking like. I think he was the first person who showed me like Kill Switch Engage. He showed me Mayday Parade, like Punchline, all these like random ass bands. But like he was definitely the originator of all that. Even movies though. But it was cool because all these people that would like pirate all this shit, they would put their libraries on there to like share, I would guess. And people would grab their entire library, and like that's like finding someone's like iPod.
Yeah,
like you're gonna look in there and you're just gonna be like, I wonder what's in
like
here.
Take a look into that person's soul, and
like
what they enjoy.
The Mask of Zorro soundtrack, like what? And you would just never think that. Okay, so before we get too deep into this, I do an opening segment with all my guests, even my special guest, my very special guest like you. It's called What's in the Cup. What's in the cup? So what's in your cup?
I got a cup of Joe, cup of coffee. This one's a special I'll call you right back roast.
I thought you weren't going to say it, and I was going to be like, really? Just going to be like, it's a cup of coffee?
Well, first, you didn't ask me what's in the cup. You did not ask me what I wanted to drink, and I know for a fact that you ask every guest what they want to drink. And I was like, well, let me make it really easy on you. You already got coffee in the kitchen. Why don't you make me a pot?
And it's pretty good, right?
It's so good.
I mean, let's be real. Like, okay, so...
Like, shout out to Tyler at Black Forge for helping you through everything. He's very
really
smart.
Awesome.
He knows so much about coffee. And it's really cool that he has an opportunity to share his knowledge with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was really cool that he let me stick around and watch you guys while you roasted and answered some questions for me.
Yeah, so, like, for you to see all that, like, now, whenever we first started dating, I was that... the glass bottle that you buy from Sheetz, like
the bottle frappuccino.
Yeah, vanilla frappuccino.
And I had already worked at Starbucks for probably like 4 years before I met you.
Yeah, so you were like a hardcore like old lady coffee drinker.
Oh yeah, I was just like black coffee. That's all I want.
Yeah,
it's like I would wake up in the morning and that's all I wanted.
I remember being intimidated. Like, geez, like I remember being intimidated because like
I remember a very specific date that you and I went on, and we went to the Pittsburgh Mills, and they had a Starbucks inside of the Pittsburgh Mills. So we sat down, and you're like, gotta get me that vanilla bean frappuccino. I was like, what the hell? I thought we were gonna have to end it right there.
You were wearing a blue dress. I remember that day. I have a picture of you in that day, I think.
Oh, cute.
But I was never like a coffee person. Like I always, if I would have like regular drip coffee.
Where do you think that turned for you though?
Coffee?
Yeah. When was the turning point when you were like,
college.
Let me actually like
Your
try?
College.
When you would come up to school with me and
100%,
stuff?
because whenever we first started dating, like we would only go on dates, and that would be like after work and at night, and like I was never really like looking for like hot coffee. Like I would just get like one of them cold vanilla frappuccinos or whatever. But whenever you went up to school and you moved in up there, and I would stay
It was always
with
like
you
fall
over,
and winter time pretty much,
Yeah.
and early spring. So it was cold the whole time.
but I would stay with you over the weekend, and we would just wake up in the morning and like we would just go on the porch and have a cigarette and like a cup of coffee, and it was just
A routine.
Yeah, it was a routine. It's like I would just chain smoke cigarettes, and you would just like drink cups of coffee, and it kind of like merged at that point. Like I kind of felt pressured and intimidated that you were so into coffee, and I was like, oh, worked at Starbucks
Like,
for like
oh,
5
yeah, of
years. Like
course.
she's probably into it. If I don't like it, she's gonna think I'm like suspect.
Yeah.
So I started drinking it, and then like graduated from the whole from the old like vanilla bean or vanilla like hazelnut creamer and all that shit to just being like black coffee, and that's
Yeah.
where I kind of came up with it at.
Because then you kind of moved away from caring about what the creamer tastes like and cared more about what the coffee tastes like.
Yeah.
Because it makes such a difference. You can put a really good creamer in a really shitty cup of coffee and have a really bad outcome.
Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with this now. I am. I'm pretty.
I like that you're into it now, and I like that you're taking steps to start roasting your own stuff. And
Yeah. So
I
full
like that
circle.
Black Forge is so willing to.
Yeah, they do cool
Like,
ass
yeah,
shit.
they're awesome. They're so great with you.
But to come full circle, we were talking about like you being there while I was roasting that. Like what? Like were you into coffee enough to like be like you're interested in that shit, right?
Yeah, like but I've never been like, oh, I really want to go roast some beans. Like I never
Yeah.
really considered that side of it, I guess.
It was real interesting to do. I was
It's so interesting because of all the different like types of beans and how you're always going to get like a different outcome with
Yeah.
You could get 5 different outcomes with the same bean, just the way you
100%.
roast it, which is insane.
I think the moral of it all is you open me up to new things, and hopefully I do the same. But
I think so, yeah. I never listened to a podcast until I met you.
there you go. I opened you to a gift of endless knowledge.
Yeah.
And now I kick you out every week while I record my
Yeah.
own. I'm sorry about it. But back to the podcast. What we're doing this week is, Antonette and I have loved Halloween ever since we've been together, ever since we've been alive, really, even before we were together. But we did a lot of cool shit this October. And, I feel October is like a month that we like ramp up, and we're like, we got to hit all these haunted houses. We got to do all this shit. We got to make it count.
I feel like
because
there's not enough time to get all the things done
there
that we
ain't
want to do.
4 weekends.
Yeah, barely.
Four weekends
If
if
we
you're
have
lucky.
time for that, yeah.
And like you do wedding makeup, and that's like every weekend, and I'm running
Every
around.
Saturday is just destroyed.
Yeah, and
because
like
of that.
I run around. So, but I feel like we did pretty good this October.
Yeah, for sure. That's because we planned ahead and took a week to go on vacation and actually leave.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into vacation a little bit.
Right.
I thought vacation was fantastic.
Literally the best vacation I've ever been on.
Yeah. So we flew into Portland. What was it? A Saturday we flew into Portland?
Yeah, we flew in early. We left pretty early on Saturday, got there around like 1 p.m. and just rented a car and immediately started
Driving around.
and seeing what we could see.
Yeah.
Exhausted. We were dying.
Yeah, it was
But
a
all we
little bit-
wanted to do was go around.
Yeah, we went back and we rented this like crazy tree house, which was it was super cool. We stayed in. What
It was
it?
a tree house in the city.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
it
it's
was-
not like a Swiss Family Robinson. This is more of just like
Yeah.
a small house that was built above another house, kind of.
Yeah,
and
like in a backyard.
Has a tree branch, kind of as a support. I don't know.
Yeah.
it was cool though. Regardless,
It was
but
cool.
where it was called Hawthorne that we stayed in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, the neighborhood was called Hawthorne.
And that was cool. It was like, if you would think of it, it reminded me of like a little bit wider, stretched out Lawrenceville.
Kind of, yeah.
Like it had all different kinds of like different restaurants in it,
Mm-hmm.
all different kinds of like shops, and like I guess it was kind of long. I mean,
It was. I mean, just that road
Yeah, 'cause
itself was.
if we got in that car and we were driving down, like it was long as fuck. Like there were
Portland's
stores
a really
forever.
big city. I feel like it's a really big, small city. Like you could tell that people still know each other. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there's still like a familiar vibe with
Yeah.
people. It's almost like they have their like little areas.
yeah.
I'm sure the people that like live in Lawrenceville and shit are like that too.
Yeah.
And,
Like you think about Southside,
it's
everybody's
a
walking around, they
community.
all know each other. Yeah.
The first thing that we did there though was eat some food, and
Ooh,
that was
got some real fire tacos.
I mean, all the food there was probably one of the biggest highlights, I would say.
I agree.
It's like I was not hungry for
7 days.
yeah, like literally 7 days. I did not feel the sensation of hunger.
No, that's because we just kept eating good shit everywhere
just
we
a
went.
fat gluttonous. And if we weren't walking miles a day,
I would have probably died.
yeah, because it was just like we were just like, it was to the point where I would wake up and I wouldn't even be hungry, and I would just be like, all right, so where do we have to eat? Like,
Yeah, where are we going for breakfast?
What's the best place to go? And you get there, and I remember thinking like, I'm not really the hungriest, but like, oh, they have an enormous chicken biscuit.
Pine State biscuits or whatever.
Unreal.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, get a biscuit. Oh, we got to try all the rest of this shit on here. Why don't we get a homemade Pop-Tart and about 3 other things?
Wait a minute, that homemade Pop-Tart.
It was really good.
Like, I'll never forget. Like, whenever you go somewhere and you know that you had something so good and you'll just never be able to get it again.
Yeah,
it's so disappointing.
It was definitely good. I thought that Portland overall though was it was cool. I really liked it. I thought it was. I don't know if I would like. I say that I wouldn't want to live there, but like I bet you I could. If
that
I
would be a place that I would live. I would live in Portland.
Yeah, like it's not like too packed together and like.
I think I would live in Seattle more than I would want to live in Portland.
That's what I mean.
I loved Seattle.
I thought Seattle. So like after we went to Portland, we stayed in Portland for a couple of days and we went to Mount Rainier and rented a cabin, which was also incredible. Just in this random ass fucking remote place, there's a little cul-de-sac of these little cabins, and I found one and we rented it, and it was insane.
Literally like the same thing that you see in pictures of the Northwest, just on a massive scale in person.
I mean, driving to this, it was just wild.
The fog and like the rain, and it just looked like a magical forest. Like it was so beautiful.
Yeah, 100% it was worth going and being there and like seeing what they all had up there.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest highlights for me was all the coffee, because my first real, in Portland, you go get coffee at a coffee shop. You're like, it's supposed to be good. If you're going to a coffee shop, it better fucking be good. But because realistically, there's coffee shops every 5 feet.
Every 5 feet.
So if your shit ain't good, people ain't going to go to it, I would assume.
Yeah.
But in Mount Rainier, we like, everything is limited up there. There was like one outfitting store, and then there was like one general store.
Yeah, it's literally mountains. Like that's it.
Yeah,
like you go up there and you stay in a cabin and you are in the mountain. You're there to hike. You're there
100%.
to bike or whatever you're going to do.
So me and Antonette drive down and we see this little, like we were like, oh, we got to get some coffee. Like, let's just go explore a little bit and see some coffee. And we saw this little like shanty. It looked like half of a normal size shed on like a trailer. Mm-hmm. And it said, it was just like this cute, like vintage, like sign that said espresso on it. And I was like, damn, like,
yeah.
I was like, I wonder how this drive-through is going to be, because like, it kind of looked shady a little bit.
It's like just this like little drive up thing in the middle of the mountains.
Just very bizarre.
Nothing else like that around. Like the only other place that looked like they would sell anything was this tiny little market that was up the street. Like there was nothing up there.
Yeah, nothing at all. This little market up there, it was like something
it's like
you
a
would,
convenience store kind of thing.
yeah, like a general store, but it was like something you would see in a horror movie. It's
oh,
like,
hell yeah.
once
There's
you
like
walk
4
in
things
there,
on the
it's
shelf.
like now, like that's what you would hear, I would think. But at this coffee place, I was like, this shit is gonna be whack. It ain't gonna be no good. So we pull up. Of course, your very, very cookie cutter hipster is there. Very welcoming. Hi, how are you? Mm-hmm. Like, very, very welcoming. And
that was a very Jeffree Star way of saying it.
I guess. Hey, how are you? So we get this coffee, and it turns out to be unreal. And, full circle again, every bit of coffee that we had out there was unreal. Mm-hmm. Besides the best damn cup we were supposed to have.
Oh, my God. Well, I feel like as we got closer to Seattle, there was more and more of those little like pop-up coffee kind of places.
Yeah.
And like to be honest with you, like all of those places were so good.
Yeah.
As soon as we got to the restaurant where Twin Peaks was filled, where you're supposed to have a damn fine cup of coffee.
In Seattle.
No, it wasn't Seattle.
I mean Washington. It was in
Ashford.
North Bend,
Washington. that's where like most of Twin Peaks was filmed, and we
Yeah.
got to visit there, so that was cool. But
Yeah.
their coffee was trash.
It was trash.
It was garbage.
It was so much trash. And honestly, the diner, it
the
wasn't.
food wasn't that great.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's just the appeal of it was filmed there, so you go
and
there.
like it's in such like a cool little mountain town. You know, like in your backyard, there's like we stopped at this little like playground, and like there's just kids playing, and then you see to the left, there's a fucking mountain right there that is just
literally their backyard.
yeah,
just a mountain.
it's just larger than life, but it just I don't know, it felt so like refreshing out there. But this coffee was garbage, and it was a shame. And we spent $25 on bumper stickers and postcards. Fucking left them right in the rental
in
car.
the rental.
So we had a couple funny experiences with postcards. Me and Antonette both filled out postcards to send.
To
I
our
filled out one
parents.
for my work. I filled out one for my mom, and Antonette filled out one for her mom. We all filled them out. It was funny, nice. We thought it was going to be a great gesture.
Yeah.
Tossed them in the fucking mailbox, and then we were driving like 2 days later, and I was like, I don't remember putting my address on any of them. And then I was like, I don't remember. I definitely
your
didn't.
work address or your
Yeah,
home address.
I was
I didn't
like-
put my mom's
I was
address on
there's
there.
no way that I put addresses on there. So we just shipped out three. We just shipped out 3 postcards, and they're just floating in the abyss now. But
Yeah.
it's a thought that counts. But
They had stamps and everything.
Everything.
The first place that we stayed at gave us the postcards with the stamps ready on it.
Which
and
was
we're
a cool
just
gesture.
two idiots.
yeah, idiots. So after the cabin in Mount Rainier, we get up to Seattle. That's where we wanted to go. We had a cool place to stay right on like the water, and
Yeah, we were only like 4 blocks away from Pike Place Market and everything.
Now, what was your thought between what you liked better between Portland and Seattle, and why?
I feel like I like them for different reasons. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's better. I
a
like
good point.
Seattle because it was along the water. Like there was rivers coming through Portland and stuff, but Seattle was right along that little, they call it the Sound or
Yeah.
whatever. And you get on the ferry. That was fun.
That was really cool.
We went on that ferry and it was like a 20-minute ride, barely.
45 minutes. It was a 45-minute ride there.
No,
Yeah, it was 45 minutes, they said.
that's a long ass ride.
Yeah, it was 45 minutes there because, and they said it was going to be a 15-minute like layover before they took back off. But you're right though; it was cool for different reasons. It was very, very different vibes, like very, very
Yeah.
different feels. Me and Antonette, whenever we go and travel places, we try to take like little tours. They always set up these tours, and
Anywhere you go, you have to take a guided tour.
yeah, I mean, like
Because
if you
if
Google
you don't,
it,
like, you just don't get to learn anything about that place.
100%. Like if you Google, like we went for our honeymoon, we went to Salem. We Googled tours around Salem, and they had these like wild ass tours, and you could cater it to whatever you want. If you want beer, they have brewery tours. If you want coffee, they have coffee tours. Food tours, like store tour, like
Ghost
shops tours.
tours.
Yeah,
historical
literally
tours,
anything
like
you want.
Everything.
But we went to one in Portland, which was a strange and
I think it was called like the Strange Portland Tour or something. And they told
bizarre
us,
Portland or some shit.
yeah, they told us all these like weird history stories about when it was like a logging town and like all the big wigs and people who were making all the money for the town were,
it was basically
were
like
thriving.
like where gangsters and shit were. Like there
Yeah.
was like one like 2-block area that was just like one connected building almost, and it was just where all these like the people of importance, like if you were a drug dealer, if you fucking were a pimp, if you were like anything that was involved with nefarious acts,
Yeah.
you were in this like little spot. And
Well,
it was,
because they said there was like 12 bars just
yeah,
in
like
that
connected.
building. Yeah.
And it was so like it was such a big deal for them, like drinking, I guess. And
Gambling wasn't a big thing there, was it?
yeah, yeah.
Did they say
they
gambling?
said they had gambling. They said they had hookers. They said they had alcohol. They said they had drugs. Remember, because she said there was like opium dens in the basement.
Oh yeah.
And then, but the thing that was crazy she was talking about is like these bars would be so fucking packed that these
Wall to
guys would be sitting at the bar, and they installed these little like pig troughs against the bar for people to just like not get up. So people would literally be drinking these beers and just piss right there.
Right where they were sitting.
Just pissing right there. So you
So
know,
imagine going down
splashing
to the
on
fireside
people.
inn,
Yeah.
and all them yinzers are just pissing in a trough.
It Jax. Imagine if you were at Jax and there was just like a trough at the bar and people were
So
just
you didn't have to get up, and you could talk to your prostitute right there.
yeah, because people said that they said that if you got up you would lose your seat, and like people would just have to wait there until someone got up, and it was either they would get shitty drunk and pass out and someone would just take their seat, or they would go and they find a woman of the night. And they said that the code word back then for to find a woman of the night is I need a seamstress to help me sew on my button. And you're just like, yeah, I bet.
I bet you do.
But it was such a cool like thing to be able to like go on these tours and hear about the places that we are from other people.
I kind of wish we did a guided tour in Seattle. We didn't do one, right?
No.
But we went to that Museum of Pop Art,
And we went to the aquarium.
and we went to the aquarium.
And it's like there was definitely cool things to do. It's like we're one of them like typical people where like you Google where we are and it's like the top like 15 things to do.
Yeah, but like you kind of do that anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you come to Pittsburgh, you're gonna go to like the Andy Warhol Museum.
That's
you
true.
know?
That's a fair point. We went to that pop museum.
It wasn't pop art. I'm sorry. It was pop culture.
Pop culture, yeah. It was the Museum of Pop.
Yeah.
It was just called the Museum of Pop, and it was right in Seattle. And
So they had everything from like movie stuff to music to like TV shows. They had like artifacts from all of these different things. They had a really cool exhibit about like Nirvana.
oh, an entire room of Nirvana shit, like
It
the
was
green
super
sweater that
cool.
Kurt was wearing, like the lyric books that they've had. They had the fucking Star Spangled Banner guitar from Jimi Hendrix.
Insane.
It was seriously one of the coolest museums we've been to because, you know, I thought it was just going to be like, you know, I saw that they had a big ass Prince exhibit, which was definitely
The
dope.
Prince exhibit was super cool.
Yeah, it was so wild. That
and
dude
the horror
was just
movie
wild.
exhibit or horror exhibit or whatever was so cool. They
Yeah.
had like all kinds of masks from different movies, and
There was definitely cool shit that was going on there. But I don't know. Vacation was a success.
Loved it.
I enjoyed it very much. And that was a good way to kick off our October. We tried,
Yeah.
you know, what was weird is we tried to find like haunted houses to go to out there, like haunted attractions, and there was really none.
there really wasn't.
I don't think people do it like they do like around here. I don't know if like we're just spoiled because, you know, if any given day in October you can go to 6 different haunted houses
Around here,
around
yeah.
Pittsburgh within like an
I don't
hour
know if it's
of
about a
each way.
spoiled thing. I think it's like and I know you're gonna make fun of me for saying this, but it's like a society thing. Like people get offended. I feel like people get offended out there.
But about what? What would you get
I
offended
don't
by?
know. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like
Yeah.
people out there are much more serious, I feel, than they are here.
I mean, yeah, I could see
Like
that.
everybody was super friendly out there, 100%. But I feel like everybody's much more serious about
All right,
shit going on in the world.
I'll allow it. But
Pittsburgh, nobody gives a shit.
yeah, Pittsburgh is just is wild. So
Yeah.
we started off October with Cheeseman's Fright Farm. So
Yeah,
Cheeseman's
that was
Fright
fun.
Farm is, where's that at?
That's Mars, PA, or right past it.
Okay, so Mars, PA. We've been going to this place for a while, and Cheeseman's is. I mean, by the time this is out, I mean they might still be open, but I wanted to talk about them because every year, give me that jar.
It's like suction. We have like this little coffee thermos to keep our cups warm, and it was like suctioned because it was so hot.
All right, but anyway, we went to Cheeseman's, and I thought that was a really good haunted house. Nice. Spill it everywhere. You idiot. I'm just kidding. You need a napkin?
I'll get one.
So every year we go to Cheeseman's, and I'd say it's one of like,
I think it's one of the ones around here that are improving every year.
yeah, 100%. And it's good. It's a good bang for your buck. What was it, like $22?
Yeah. Might have been just 20, I think.
$20 maybe, but you go there, you get to ride a hayride out there. People hop on, scare the shit out of you, and you get to go around these haunted houses. And like for $20, I thought it was good. I think I gave it like a 7.3 out of 10.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Solid rating, but that was cool. And
On
that
the
was
1 bite scale.
on the 1 bite scale. But that place was cool, and like that was the first one we went to. Where else did we go? We went to
Castle Blood.
Castle Blood.
Awesome.
Which
Always
was
good.
absolutely fantastic. Castle Blood is in Monessen, and it's the best haunted house around here. It's not like a terrifying, like you're gonna be the most scared you've ever been, but it's an interactive haunted house,
which is an extremely unique thing because these haunted houses around here, like you said, are a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
and they all have the same tactic, like, oh, I'm around the corner, oh, I'm in the corn maze. Like,
yeah.
This is very, very different. Like, you walk in, everybody's 100% in character at all times.
Yeah.
Like, they are actors and they're very good.
And the place that it is was an old funeral home that was, I think, so Castle Blood has been there for 6 years, and they said that
it was still a working funeral home
6 years before they
6 years
started.
prior to
So 12
when they
years.
purchased it. Yeah.
12 years ago, it was a real funeral home. So this place is fucking huge. But if you go inside, it basically looks like the Munsters house. It looks like an entire spooky ass family just lives in this house. Like, it's decorated, but it's decorated in a way that looks authentic.
Yeah.
It looks so authentic. And Rick...
and that's like the idea. They want you to be like, this is their home. This is where all of these monsters and demons and stuff reside.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And Rick, who is the owner and, the creator of Castle Blood, or Gravely, Master Gravely, he, every year he does awesome shit. And like in these haunted houses, they have all these like little games that you have to play. You're interacting with these actors the entire time you're in there, which is definitely so cool. Makes it real fun. And like to get through that whole haunted house is like probably 40 minutes.
Yeah, maybe longer. It takes a while.
Yeah, but it's good though. It's not like it drags out, but they had 13 like different, I don't know, activities that you had to do while you were in this haunted house, and every year they're all the same. I mean, they're all different.
Yeah. And what's cool about it is there's always like a consistent story to the house. Like they always say every year the same people, lived and died here, and they build off of that.
Yeah.
So every year they change what the puzzles are. They change the theme of it. Not like the theme, like appearance wise, but like the storyline. Like it's always different. Like this year,
it was called Life Before Death or Life After Death.
Something like that. Death Becomes You.
Oh yeah, Death Becomes You.
So every single one of the challenges went along with that theme, which was very, very cool.
It was seriously so awesome. And I don't know, they're probably closed by now, but like for instance,
I bet you they're open one more night.
Well, go check it out. But if you want, like, I'll give you an example for one of like the things, like in the hallway they have silhouettes of all these different monsters, and you have to
don't give away the whole.
I'm not. But I mean, like it's gonna be Halloween. There's gonna be 2 more days left. You know what I mean? But anyway, they give you there's like probably 10 pictures on the walls in this hallway, and you look at all these silhouettes, and right under these pictures there's little placards that you have to move over, and it says how to defeat these monsters. And it is just so awesome. Like the only one I'll tell you is like there's a silhouette of a gremlin, and on the bottom one of the nameplates says feed after midnight or don't feed after midnight. And it's just so cool, like all these different ideas. And like I said, it's not like, like I'm not like terrified like running through these things, but throughout the whole thing, there's
they definitely jump out.
There's jump scares throughout this whole thing, but it's just fun
like
to be able to
while you're walking
have,
from like puzzle to puzzle.
Yeah, it's just fun to have like a different, and like as you beat these puzzles, they give you like things to help you advance through this haunted house.
And then at the end, you're judged
yeah.
by the Reaper himself.
Yeah, it was. It's just it's my favorite haunted house around here for sure.
Yeah.
Castle Blood in Monessen. It might be open, this weekend. But
if you don't go this year, you have to go next year. Like, you just go. It's so fun.
But they also do shit for all the holidays. Like for St. Patrick's Day, they'll do something. Christmas, Valentine's Day.
You told me that, but I don't think we've ever done that.
No, we should do that this year. So after Castle Blood, we went to what was it?
We went to Fright Night. That was shitty.
Yeah, Fright Night wasn't that good. I don't think I'm
doing that anymore.
Fright Night wasn't that good. It's a shame. And we talked about that a little bit more before, but I just feel that it's just not like it was.
It's not, and I love Kennywood so much, and I've always loved Kennywood. It's I don't know. The Fright Night.
What do you think's
is just
happening
going down.
to it?
I feel like not enough people care about it anymore.
In what way? Like the people that go, or the people that work
act there, work there.
Yeah.
And like
that's a really good point, because the people who work at haunted houses are generally volunteers.
Yeah.
So they're doing it for like the love of them.
I don't know if Kennywood is or not.
No. I'm not saying Kennywood is. I'm saying Kennywood is just the paid people who work there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just people that work at Kennywood. It's not necessarily like people that are always passionate about it.
Whenever they first started, I think a lot more people were excited about it and excited to try to work there
for
and
sure.
all that. And
I always wanted to.
I feel like they spent a lot more time back then. What was that, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago when they started?
When that started.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I was a kid whenever I started
Me
going.
too. I remember the first year, and I remember thinking, like, that was wild.
It was pretty sick, honestly. It used to be real cool. Like, the whole entire park, there were actors walking around. Like, there really wasn't, like, a break. You were just always on your toes, scared.
Yeah, now it's kind of like, I don't know, it's lacking, it's spotty. Mm-hmm. There's not really anyone that's like...
Like, remember how all those midways used to be, like, dressed up and stuff? They don't do... Like, they're missing, like, maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, like, some of it is...
But like I told you before, like, it takes a solid effort to try to assemble 5 or 6 haunted houses every year. Like, that's a lot of work. And it's a lot of consideration, especially when you have to create a new attraction.
But these people...
To keep people coming.
I wish that I could tell the people at Kennywood, like... Bro, we don't want 19 different haunted houses in every area of the park.
Excellent haunted houses.
Make 3 or 4 of them that are just fucking bangers.
Yeah.
And let people enjoy those haunted houses.
Make them longer than the 10 minutes it takes to walk through them.
Yeah, exactly. People are waiting for 2 hours. Like,
make it worth their time.
Yeah, exactly. People are waiting there for 2 hours already. Like,
I hope that PR guy's listening.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to the PR guy. I doubt it, but
I know.
I really, like, if you think about it, there's, what did they have, like maybe 6 or 7 haunted houses this year. And
yeah, and they were all mediocre.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, I mean, granted, we only went into like 2 of the haunted houses or 3 of them, but like, last year we went to them too.
Yeah.
And it's a shame
and last
because,
year
like,
you and I got through a lot of them because it was not as crowded as...
Yeah, we went on a day that was raining, kind of.
Yeah.
It was raining during the day, but not at night. It turned out being nice. But it's just a shame because, like, you could have, like, cut those in half. Mm-hmm. The few people you have working in like haunted house 5, 6, and 7, just get rid of those haunted houses and put them people all in haunted houses 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Spread it out a little bit more, make it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that like they don't look good because like that's pretty much what they're riding off of now.
It's a tough sell at this point because when you go, that it's gonna be ridiculously crowded.
Lines.
So at this point, do I want to spend $30 per person to go in there?
It was 33, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
But I mean, I feel like it's like, it's something we do like almost every year just because I wanted to.
It's like reminiscent for us because we got engaged at Kennywood on Fright Night.
But even before that, like I was going to Fright Night every year, but it's just like, I just like the experience of it all. But I guess full circle, like we went to Haunted Hills Estate and, that ticket was $30 to get in that haunted house. And that's in Uniontown. It's like they just reopened again. And, $30 is
That's pretty steep.
that's a steep. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's $250.
Especially if you're
I
gonna
mean,
drive-
a third of $100.
You live in Pittsburgh, you're going to drive an hour to Uniontown.
Yeah.
Better be worth that $30 in the hour drive.
Yeah, like we took a hike out there.
Yeah, we
and,
did. We brought a couple of our friends.
It was 30 bones, and I mean, realistically, it's not like it was just one haunted house and then you were gone. It's like you went into this area, and there was people walking around. There
Yeah.
was fucking fire breathers, and like there was a bunch.
That was cool.
That was real cool.
Yeah.
But there was 5 different attractions that you could go to. One was like an escape room. One was like a trail, haunted house, just a bunch of random shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about that, $30. So if you're going in all these attractions, I mean, I want the vibe of it
Yeah.
to be cool. So just like walking around and everything
Yeah.
like that.
You want to
Kennywood,
feel like you're in the action.
100%. And I feel
Kennywood,
like
I don't feel like that anymore.
yeah, I don't. And it's a shame because like before, you know, it was more crazy. Like there was fog machines, like, you know, people always getting crazy. We walked into the tunnel this year and there was nothing
There
even,
wasn't nobody standing in the tunnel to scare us.
no fog in that tunnel. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? That's like, almost, that's like sets the tone.
That's like half of the scary part of Kennywood when you go.
Yeah,
Is whenever
but-
you're scared in that
The
tunnel.
haunted houses, I do enjoy it. I honestly was let down that Scare House was not open this year.
Yeah, but hopefully they come back with some
hitter.
real cool shit. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, and I mean,
I really like Scare House. I do. I think
Scare
they're
House,
pretty good.
Scare House is definitely, I think, the best haunted house as far as like being like scared of shit and having like a budget. Like if you're thinking of the Castle Blood, like Castle Blood is like they take nothing and they make it into something great.
Yeah.
Like
and
they
literally
use what they have.
They have such a passion for it that it turns into what it is.
Yeah, like Gravely and like everyone who works there, like they detail all this shit and they
Yeah.
build all their shit. Like, and this is all like they're not paying people to do this, but
no.
like,
and if you
Scare
have
House,
a chance, you should listen to the podcast.
Oh yeah.
With
I talked
Master
to
Gravely.
I talked to Master Gravely a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So check back what podcast it was like a year ago. I think I was on maybe like 45
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But
And that's a good one because he explains all the ins and outs of owning one of those attractions because
Yeah.
they treat it like a
privately owned one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, if you think of Scare House is in cahoots with like, you know, whenever Krampus came out, they had like I can't
It's
remember.
probably like licensing shit that you have to
Well,
do.
they
Like,
did.
yeah.
They did. I can't remember who made Jesus. I can't remember who made Krampus, but they were like all the actors and shit like that
Mm-hmm.
were there. Like they teamed up with them, and that's crazy. Like they have a crazy budget, and I'm not saying that like they don't put in the work because they absolutely do.
Oh, yeah, they
but
do.
They could do a
Oh,
little
my
bit
God.
more than like the private, you know, or not.
That's why I'm hoping that they come out with some wild shit next year.
Yeah.
If they're taking the time off this year, they better come back with a hitter.
Yeah, because like every year we go to Scare House because that's the one that's like you know that you're gonna have a good
Yeah,
time there.
for sure.
Takes like you know
You
35,
spend
40 minutes
whatever,
to get in there.
$25 to get in there. It's worth your money. It's
I don't know what the hell is in my throat.
I don't know. Frog. Ghost.
A ghost. You got a ghost in your throat. But yeah, Scare House. I think it's like what do we pay? $28 last year.
Something like that, yeah.
But they do so well because like they have these crazy like you know like mechanisms and like
Mm-hmm.
effects and everything like that, and it's cool to be able to get that end of it all.
Yeah.
you know, if you want to go there and you want
It's
to
like you're like in a movie. Yeah.
If you want to go in there and be scared and like you get jump scares, like I was on one of their cameras one year. It was the worst. It was
He was leading up the line.
yeah, there was a black and white video, like a night vision video of me walking through this like auditorium that they had that had a bunch of like creepy people
Like sitting in the seats.
sitting in these like pews that were dressed like wolves, and you didn't know. I knew one of these
Of course,
motherfuckers were
of
gonna
course.
move, and and it was someone that I did not expect. It was no one sitting down. It was someone from the back, and they just scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
And
I loved it.
It was on video, but I don't know why I keep coughing. I apologize, but I was happy with our haunted house experience
Yeah.
this year. Another thing I wanted to bring up before we got too deep into it was we watched a few great movies.
Some excellent films.
Some excellent films this year, and I was happy about it. The first one we watched actually was the best.
The Haunt.
Yeah. So we broke this spooky season off with broke it off.
We
Kicked it off.
Kicked it off.
Not broke it off, you idiot. We
took
kicked
me a
it
minute.
off.
It's kind of late. I'm like tired a little bit.
We
Like,
kicked off this spooky season with this random movie that I've never heard of. And the only reason we watched it is because I saw that Eli Roth was involved. Eli Roth made Hostel. He made a plethora of movies. He was in Inglourious Bastards. He played the Bear Jew. Did you know that?
No.
Do you know who Eli Roth is?
My coworkers talk about him all the time.
Yeah, he
They're,
made like that
complete
Green
horror
Inferno
nerds.
movie where they ate the people. He's
Yes.
very, very graphic.
Okay.
Like Hostel was a
But
graphic
The Haunt,
ass
I
movie.
didn't feel was that graphic. Like
No,
a little bit.
No,
but
it wasn't
not-
that graphic, but I don't think he had too much to do with it. I think that he just said like this movie is great.
Oh, I see.
It might have been like an excerpt or something. Whatever, don't quote me. But we watched this movie, never heard about it, and it was fantastic.
I loved it.
Yeah, like it was
I
a
thought
cool
it
idea.
actually like had a real plot and like it wasn't just teenagers go into the woods and they start disappearing one by one. Like
Yeah.
like there was like actually
two
like-
teenagers go and they start banging in a car.
Yeah.
And then someone just like kills both of them
Yeah.
with one swipe of a machete.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't that.
No.
It had them tendencies, but it wasn't that.
But yeah, it did have some of the cliche stuff, but I
It
thought
was-
that
it
they
was
did
just
really,
enough.
really well with it.
It was just enough, but it was a really cool take on like a different idea. Like
Yeah.
there was a movie a couple years ago called The House is October Built, which was supposed to be like a mockumentary of these people were going around to try to find the scariest haunted house in the nation. They were making like a documentary on the people who worked there, and it turns out they were like went to some place. I think it was in New Orleans. I want to say it was.
I think that you're right, yeah.
And people just started getting killed. But it was like a weird version of it all. It was good, but it was like, I don't know. It was kind of just like, I don't know. It felt like a shallow theme. But The Haunt.
Even though I still liked that movie. I thought that was a good movie.
It was definitely way, it was creepy.
eerie, yeah.
Because it felt like that shit was real. And if you think about it, walking through a haunted house is the perfect place to kill people.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I
They
mean?
made
Like,
that other movie maybe last year or the year before where those kids go to like the
Hellfest.
the amusement
I still
park.
didn't watch that.
That one was pretty good. I liked it.
I think you watched that whenever I kicked you out one night for a
I
podcast.
think so, yeah.
But I remember
I think you
someone
would like
else-
that if you watched it.
I would watch that. But The Haunt is basically, a group of teenagers that are just like, they're just driving around kind of like we would do and find a haunted house and, some wild shit starts
Yeah.
happening. It's like a haunted house. They looked up on Yelp. It had like a couple reviews.
It's like haunted house mixed with Saw.
Yeah. It's super cool. It was definitely worth watching, even if Halloween is over. But Halloween's here all year.
That's the truth.
So
I know you're excited for Christmas though, which I don't know.
oh, I'm all about Christmas. I can't wait. But we had trick or treating already. I wanted to bring up something
did.
that I was very, very curious about. So I was reading the news today, all this riffraff of people getting all crazy. Oh my God. I was reading some
Everybody
of
calling
these.
all these parents snowflakes or their kids snowflakes because nobody wants to let them trick or treat in the rain.
Unreal. First
People
of all,
are literally pushing trick or treating because of rain. Do you think when I was a kid, they pushed trick or treating? They did not.
I froze to death.
I froze to death. I was wearing a jacket. I was crying because nobody could see my costume.
know.
So pissed.
I would just, I would be the one that would not be wearing the costume. I would just literally freeze. And I remember that,
They'd be sick for like the next month. Your mom would be so pissed.
100%. And you would come home and you would just, look at all your treasure and just like, then you would like barter with your friends that you went with. But
Whenever I would come home though, I wouldn't even care about the candy anymore. I'd be like, I would have like a couple pieces and be like, I'm good on it.
you thought so. I remember I would go trick or treating with whoever we would go with, and we would come back and sit on my basement floor, and I would trade off all of the York peppermint patties, all of the.
And I feel like you have more of a
popcorn
neighborhood like
balls.
that. I really didn't. Like me and my sister would trade and stuff.
Well, I mean, like, I guess that's true, but what was trick or treating like for you where you lived? Because you live right
Well-
near the turnpike.
Yeah, but when I was like little, we would trick or treat when I lived in New Ken.
Yeah.
So that was more of like a neighborhood that you could walk around.
Yeah, I guess you were kind of too old whenever you went to the
Pretty
other
much.
house.
Yeah. Whenever we moved to Plum, I was like 6th grade. So I think I was still doing some stuff. We would like go to like a neighborhood across the street or like Oakmont or something. But
oh yeah, I guess there is neighborhoods across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was your favorite candy to get whenever you were younger?
Reese's.
Reese's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was not a big Reese's guy whenever I was younger. I loved Reese's Pieces, but I only ate Reese's cups.
Stop calling it Reese's Pieces.
What
Reese's
was it?
Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's
Pieces. Yeah, but whatever. Tomatoes.
Wait, what were you saying the other day?
New York peppermint patties.
Yeah, you kept saying New York peppermint patties, and you got to talk about that too.
So we'll talk about that in a second. Now, whenever you were trick-or-treating, what was your least favorite candy to get?
Twizzlers. I fucking hate
Really?
Twizzlers.
I like Twizzlers
But like
for some
the
reason.
peel ones, I like the peel
those were that
ones.
bomb shit.
But like the regular Twizzlers, keep it. I don't want nothing to do with that.
It seemed to be that them fun size ones were always all stale and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's like they didn't have anything to like sit in the bag with to keep moist or something.
Yeah.
And they were just by themselves.
They should have put a silica packet in there. But
so all the kids could choke on them.
I didn't even think about that. That's how great of a dad I would be. But we had trick-or-treating this Saturday. So like for the people that don't know already, Halloween is today. All right. Trick-or-treating should be tonight from 6 to 8. But because it's raining cats and dogs, all these like
we used
parents,
to go in the snow.
I know. We were just talking about that. We used to go.
Were you talking about that with people at work?
No, with the group chat. But we were just like, yeah, we'd be in fucking snow, just trucking through there. Like, who gave a shit what the weather was like? But all these people now are like, "Lo, let's push Halloween until Saturday
weekend.
morning." Yeah. First of all,
Who's
trick or treating in the
Saturday
daytime
morning?
is the worst. All right. Trick-or-treating in the daytime, it takes every bit of fun out of anything. That's like watching how Harry Potter was made. It's like you don't want to know. Yeah. It's like watching how Star Wars was made or something like that. It kind of takes away from how weird it is. It's like watching Kermit the Frog on top of Jim Henson's hand. It's like, you're just like, that's still cool, kind of.
But like it's ruined now.
But it's kind of ruined a little bit. Mm-hmm. And these people, for me, we live on a main road, so it makes sense to have little kids,
Yeah, because our neighborhood does trick-or-treating the Saturday before. And it's usually like around 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Listen, it is buck
It is wild.
I'm telling you, it was pouring down rain on Saturday when we did this, and I gave out 500 pieces of candy, easy. And,
in 2 hours.
Yeah, honestly, I probably gave out 60% of it in the first 20 minutes. Because we're the first house on this like big long stretch of houses, and we get the fucking tip of it all.
And that's because they do a parade up the street first.
And literally ends right where our house is.
Right in our house, and they all line up.
Everyone's like, hey, all right, let's get it going here.
They set up a couple like those wooden horses or whatever they're called.
Horses.
Ain't that what it's called?
I saw horses, I guess.
Yeah. So they set those up, and all the kids line up behind them.
Yeah.
And then it's like a couple hundred kids deep, and then they just unleash them.
It was messed up because, as I was giving these candies out, all right, it was me and my mom at first, and we were just sitting there, and I was, I felt bad because whenever there was big waves of people, I was on my porch, but like whenever big waves of people would come by, I would just walk out to kind of meet them. And what I was doing was just like grabbing handfuls of candy and throwing a piece in everyone's bag, trying to keep the line moving. Mm-hmm. And in this plethora of candy, this cornucopia of candy that I had,
literally the bucket could probably fit like
3
maybe
basketballs.
1,000.
Yeah, you could fit. Actually, it fits 500 pieces of candy because every piece fit in there to the
Oh, yeah?
brim. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
wow.
point.
Huh,
It was very
interesting.
weird. It was very weird. But
Big ass thing from Walmart.
big ass thing, 5 bones. But I would just grab a handful and I was just firing them in these bags, and I would, trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat, and just throwing them in there and just being like, oh, you look good. Oh, you look good. You look good. You look good. And it's just letting it go. And then in all these good candies, I had Kit Kats, I had Reese's, I had Snickers, there was Almond Joys in there. There was all kinds of shit. And then there was the Little Devils, the York peppermint patties. And
Not to be confused with the New York peppermint patties.
I was calling them New York, but I would grab a peppermint patty, and I grabbed one and I threw it in this little Spider-Man. He might have been a Spider-Man or a pirate, but I threw it in his bag, and he looked in his bag,
pissed.
and I was like, and he reached in and grabbed it, and he went, peppermint patty, and walked away so defeated. And at that moment, I was like, fuck. Like, I hate peppermint patties.
I love them. So that's why I'm confused. I'm
Never.
like, I
Keep
would
it.
be so happy when somebody gave me a peppermint patty and nobody ever handed them out.
The only mint and chocolate that should ever touch together are the Andes mints after a
Those are fire too.
after a
But
fat Olive
York
Garden
peppermint
meal.
patties are very good.
Ain't. But anyway, I was giving these kids, I was just flipping these peppermint patties into their bags like coins. And I wasn't even thinking about it. And this little kid like took it. I was taken back by it because he pulled it out of his bag. Like he knew.
What did he say to you?
He went, "Oh, peppermint patty," and walked away. And I was like, "Oh man!" And I gave him 2 Reese's cups, and he was pumped about that. So from that moment forward, any person that I reached in and grabbed a peppermint patty with, I gave them 2 pieces of candy because like I didn't want them to be upset with that.
And then I was like, I don't know why you weren't thinking this from the beginning, but you should have been pushing them peppermint patties aside for your wifey.
They're trash. But
They're
anyway,
good.
I could not wear, I released these new hoodies and t-shirts, the Drew hoodies that, have inspiration from Scream. So I had a Scream mask, and I started off by wearing the Scream mask, and I was
That
handing out
didn't go
candy.
over well.
Immediately, a kid was screaming, going, ah! The mom and dad were laughing so hard. So I took my mask off, would not come near me.
I see, and I wasn't here for that. I would have been literally in tears laughing.
He was very, very
He
upset.
was not okay.
And I think that he was kind of salty the rest of the time, I think. But there was a lot of good candy. I mean, not good candy. There was a lot of good costumes
Yeah,
this year.
there were. They were cute.
One costume that stuck out to me that was definitely the best is this girl's mom and dad dressed her up like Elle from Legally Blonde. And
Oh my god, it was
this little
so
girl
cute.
had this little dog. She was dressed in all pink, and
Looked
it was
like, and it said Bruiser.
yeah, it was fantastic. It was
It
definitely
was
great.
so good.
I saw a million Spider-Mans because there's been 17 remakes. I saw a million Pirates, and I saw a bunch of Purge people. I think those were probably the 3.
Yeah, there was a lot of Purge people, which I didn't really expect that many kids to really know what that was.
Well, now,
Is that like a popular thing for kids to watch? Because I feel like that's a pretty
there's like a
messed up
TV
thing.
show and shit now.
Oh,
so
is there?
I guess.
Oh.
Now let me ask you your opinion on this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. What do you think of kids, like as we were handing out candy, there were some kids that were, 15, 16. It's like, what do
Mm-hmm.
you think about that? Do you think that I should shun these people away?
No, and let me tell you why. It depends. It could be one of 2 things. You shouldn't shun them away if they've made a solid effort and they put a costume on,
Yeah.
and they got a bag and they're like ready for it and they're excited for it.
Yes.
But if they're like, they just walked out of their front door with like a giant eagle bag, wearing their regular ass clothes, fuck them.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Keep it.
Keep it.
And I passed over a girl who did not have a costume. She, if there was something, not that I wasn't putting together.
Like, are you sure?
No, this girl, listen to me. If someone has, a mental incapacity,
I understand.
something like
Yeah.
that, like I feel
usually
like
that's pretty obvious. I feel like usually their parents come along.
with everything in my soul, I felt like that this girl was in 10th grade and she was like, I'm going to go get some candy.
Because I ain't got nothing else to do at 1:30 on a Saturday.
Because she was with her friend and they were talking and laughing on their cell phones and everything. And
was
the
her
other
friend wearing a costume?
Her other neither of them were wearing costumes, and her
okay.
other friend didn't even have a bag or anything. So it
So
just
they
made me
literally
think.
just walked out of their house.
Yeah, and it was a giant eagle bag that they were doing, and I was just like, nope.
So it was my option number 2, where I don't think that you should be given.
I was like, nope. But there was a bunch of other kids that
Did
were
they give you
dressed up.
pushback, or did you just like skipped over?
Oh, I just pretended I didn't see them.
Oh my God, I'm screaming.
I had a handful of Kit Kats, and I hovered over their
You went,
bag.
"Yeet."
Yeah, and I was like, nope. And they just moved on to the next one. But anyway, I was pretty happy with the turnout we had. For
Yeah.
all that rain, there was a good amount of people.
Even when I caught the tail end after I came back from doing a wedding, there was a
Yeah.
lot of people still.
There was a lot of people for
Yeah.
sure. So, I mean, the moral is I don't understand why they're pushing this fucking Halloween date.
I don't. I mean, all them kids went out in the rain
Well,
on
I mean,
Saturday.
I think
you
the
know?
basis of it all is like, who wants to go trick or treating in the daytime? Whenever I was younger,
We just did that on Saturday.
yeah,
we did
but
that.
we were kind of obligated to do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, kids would be getting jacked by cars here. There's not even a
I
fucking
know.
stop sign
I
outside.
know.
Guaranteed at least 2 of them were getting hit.
Yeah.
But I saw kids sprinting across the road with no regard, just losing their mind.
And they let cars go through.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But I just I don't, if you're in like a smaller neighborhood, like why would you want to do it in the daytime?
Yeah.
You know, whenever I was younger, we would walk around and there would be people that like, you can't see no lights. What the fuck is the point of having a jack-o'-lantern
I feel
if
like
it's
at
not
the
even
end
nighttime?
of it, it's not. I don't think it's the kids that.
No,
give a
it's
shit.
the parents
It's the
that don't
parents
want
that
to
don't
walk
wanna
around in the rain.
Yeah.
The selfish
Which is
motherfuckers.
annoying as all hell.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
If it's raining, get yourself a fucking umbrella
Yeah.
because that's what my parents did. That's what I would do if I was a
Right,
parent.
right.
It's like, come on. But I mean, I'm also
Because the
not a
people
parent.
sitting in their houses or sitting on their porch don't give a shit if it's raining.
I saw that Crafton changed theirs to Saturday, and I saw on their Facebook they were getting lit. People were like,
really?
"Are you kidding me? Why would we do this? Like, it's a little bit of rain." And
Yeah.
basically, everyone was just saying, like, back in my day, I had to walk 15 miles in the, like the grandfather in Rugrats, I'd walk 15 miles to where I needed to go. But I just don't get it. So tomorrow,
I'm interested to see how many neighborhoods actually do that, or like what neighborhoods actually do that.
well, I'm trying to figure out what's going to go on for Elizabeth because I'm going to go
I
back
feel like
there
Elizabeth
tomorrow.
won't change it.
Or I'm going to go back there tonight, technically. This is tonight. This is Thursday, but I'm going to go back there and see what's
Go with your
going on.
brother, yeah.
Yeah, and just stand there and see if we can.
And your mom's new puppy.
Yeah, my mother got a dog. So my mom has a dog, and she wants to name it Rusty. And because like our other dogs' name are Buddy and Casey and Rusty. So she wanted them to have the E's at the end.
Which I disagree with. I think that they should all be different.
It's kind of dumb. Like, but I mean,
That
whatever.
dog ain't going to know what his name is. Because,
Buddy knows his name.
well, that's because everybody calls him Bud.
Yeah, but
Like-
so what I told my brother, I was like, we got to start calling this dog a different name and try
And
to.
I thought,
I don't
not
think it was you.
I came up with the name Lenny. And I cannot wait to call that dog Lenny every single time I go over there, to the point where your dad's probably going to kick my ass. Your dad's going to be so mad at
So
me.
they want to call this little dog Rusty, but we're just going to call it Lenny a bunch.
I don't even care. I'm calling it Lenny.
I want its name to be Lenny so bad because I can just think of my mom and my dad just like, you know, seeing this dog and just yelling, Lenny! Like someone just yelling Lenny very loud is hilarious to
It's
me.
hilarious.
But I'm excited to see that
Ain't
dog.
nobody calling that thing Rusty.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't know.
I don't buy it.
So I mean, it's kind of upsetting that fall's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not over, but it's about to be over. We got the last
Yeah,
of it
I
in.
know.
I think we made
When
our
we went
last.
to Ohio Pile.
Yeah, we made our last fall move this past weekend up at Ohio Pile. We rented some bikes and we rode like 6 miles up there.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
All
it was-
the trees were just yellow
was
and
unreal.
orange, and oh my god, it was so
Very,
beautiful.
very unreal.
And because it was the last weekend, it didn't seem like that many people were out and about. Like,
Wasn't a soul there.
no, me and you were the only people on the trail that far out.
Oh, I had this nice I had this nice bike with a flat tire that I was already too far into it to turn
That we
back.
weren't going back. We were probably already a mile down by the time I realized that your back tire
Antonette
was flat.
like, "Oh, your back tire's flat." I was like, "Oh, sick." So he just kept going, and it was just, it was a little bit difficult to pedal, but whatever. But it was beautiful. It was
Oh
very,
my
very
God, it
nice.
was amazing.
Took a nice trip in the new car that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is how we're gonna button the end of this up. I'm curious to know. So, before I purchased this new vehicle that I had a 92 Buick LeSabre.
Right. So it was as old as I am. And I
Pristine.
just turned 27 years old.
It was
so-
pristine. And it was very
was
nice.
it?
Leather seats, fully loaded, dual climate control. Come on.
It had multiple climates at the end there.
Fuzzy dice up in there. It also had, full lazy boy chairs to sit in. And Antonette refused to get
drive
behind
it.
the wheel. Did you ever drive that thing?
I moved it from behind my car so I could leave.
Now, Antonette refused to drive my car. And I was wondering why. I want to know why you did not, that you felt that you could not drive that car.
Because I felt like something bad was going to happen if I got behind the wheel of that car.
That's honestly what you felt.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Pretty much. I thought that like I was going to fuck it up or the car was going to fuck up. I just didn't want anything to do with it.
So Antonette would literally refuse to drive it. But I got rid of it.
And like I drove a hoopty for a long time and you know that.
Yeah, a long ass time. Almost
But-
the same car.
Almost. But I think too, I was worried about the fact that like it was much longer than anything that I've really driven before. Like the front end and the back, it's so much
It
longer.
was a boat. It was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know,
I
but-
just had not a fun feeling about it. I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't even like riding in it, to be honest with you. And at the end there, it was hurting.
Yeah, at the end there, it was hurting. The horn stopped working. I didn't have a sun visor. My AC stopped working. I didn't know if my heat would have worked in the wintertime. But there
Oh
was
my God,
also,
when your AC stopped working and you were coming home
was
and
the
your whole
worst.
back was, I'm like, dude,
That's the
you got to
worst.
get rid of that car.
But the thing that was, kind of the straw that broke the back was there was a hole in the bottom of my car. And if I would ride in any rain or water, it would seep in and my back rug would literally get saturated. And my car just started smelling like mold.
Ew.
And, it was really disheartening because I wake up every morning to go to work and, like, let's be honest, no one wants to wake up and go to work. And to get into a car that is kind of shitty, that don't start you off with a good.
No.
That don't start you off with a good day.
I feel like saying kind of shitty is like a really nice way to talk about it.
no, I mean
The
realistic.
only nice thing about that car was the fact that you did not have a car payment for a couple of years.
That's true. It's true. It did suck because the windshield was also broken.
Yeah, that's not good either.
And it just it made this crazy
it was
anytime you
miserable.
drive. So, but anyway, I mean we're out of it, and now we have a nice car to
It wasn't.
share.
It wasn't this car. It was the one before it, right? That
Pontiac Grand Am.
yeah, that your window didn't roll down at the end before you got rid of it.
Oh yeah, I didn't. My window would not roll down.
And one time we forgot that the window didn't roll down. We went through the drive-through like Wendy's or something, and you had to open the door just to talk to the guy.
It ain't funny.
Get the food. I was crying. I think I took a video of that. I don't know if I still
Yeah.
have
Well, listen, I've been through the ringer. I've had
it.
the
I know you
struggles.
haven't. Honestly, every car leading up to this, like it's so well deserved that you have this nice car now.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Like,
Living without it now.
I woke up, a couple of days ago. I woke up and it was like 41 in the morning, and I was driving to work, and I was like, "Fuck! I forgot I have fucking seat warmers."
And you coulda started the engine from
Yeah.
the living room.
I do got an automatic start. Haven't utilized that yet, but I'm excited. But these seat warmers is a game changer. And I didn't think that they would be, but they are.
Oh, they are. They're very nice.
They are very nice. So now I have a nicer car than you, so whatever. Is there anything else we didn't talk about? I think we did pretty good at covering everything.
Yeah, I think we did.
Pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth.
Pretty in order. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we're going to get down to the last bit. So I do an ending segment with all of my guests. You've been on here twice before. Mm-hmm. You've done these desert island questions. Mm-hmm. But no one remembers what you said. So my ending segment is desert island questions. I give each of my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they succumb to their death. Now, the first category...
That becomes you.
Yeah, exactly. The first category is things to watch on a desert island. And you have 3 choices.
I took notes prior to our conversation.
Did you?
I did. Because I didn't want you to get upset with me if I didn't have an answer for them.
Because I would have got upset with you.
Right.
Because everyone answers the desert island questions.
All right. So I didn't realize that it was just things to watch. I put movies. Is that okay?
Anything.
Okay. Number 1 movie is Practical Magic.
Okay.
Because come on, you and I rewatched it the other night.
Yeah.
It
really
stands
great.
the test of time. It's
really
very good
great.
movie.
Sandra Bullock.
Another one, Beetlejuice.
That's really good.
I will literally watch that movie over and over. I could watch it on repeat. It's such a good movie.
That's a really good movie.
Third, Under the Tuscan Sun. I needed to throw a romantic one in there. I needed my like chick flick something or other. Something that makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, that's a good one. What's her name in there?
Oh, I forget.
I cannot remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, anyway. That's a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Ladybugs. Second category is things to read.
I thought we weren't doing the read.
Why not?
I did the music because I don't read.
Yeah, but...
I'm reading something right now.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Little Monsters.
Invisible Monsters.
Invisible Monsters.
Chuck Palahniuk.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I think it's a great book.
What's it about?
It's about this lady who used to be like a supermodel and like just like high society, and all of a sudden everything's like ripped out from under her because she was in a terrible car accident. And you learn that in the first chapter, so I didn't ruin the book for anybody listening.
Okay, so you're reading that, and now how many books do you think you've read in your whole life? For fun. For fun,
not that many, to be honest with you.
Now, if you had to, if you had 2 other books that you've ever read that you enjoyed, what would they be?
Like, it's been so long since I've sat down and read a book for my enjoyment that I could not honestly tell you the names of them. But there was one that I read. It was like a coming of age kind of book where, you know, when you're like early teens, you read a book about a girl, like just learning about loving and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And there was one about that I really enjoyed. I would never be able to remember the name of it.
Great Expectations.
No,
I'm just kidding.
God, I had to read that fucking book.
Yeah, that was the worst.
That was the worst.
It was like,
but it was a good like.
The movie
as
was
an
good.
adult, if I would go back and read that now, I'd be like, this book is insane.
Would you?
Yes.
I don't know about that, but
there's basically like an old witch kind of character.
But you didn't have to read books for school that you enjoyed.
I did. That I enjoyed.
Yeah. Like, I really enjoyed To Kill a Mockingbird. I thought was good.
I enjoyed To Kill a Mockingbird. That was a good one.
Yeah. Did you ever read
I
The
liked
Giver?
1984.
I never read that one.
You would love 1984.
I have it in there with all the rest of my books, but
That's
I've never read it. I read The Giver. I loved that. And did you ever read The Outsiders? Mm-mm. Did you ever read Watership Down?
No.
Did you ever read... What was the other one we read? Oh, yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird. That was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. All right. Let me ask you another question. Why would you think I wouldn't make you answer the book question? Do you think you're special?
No, because you know that I don't read all the time.
Yeah, but even though there's people on here that don't read, I tell them to make it up. All right.
I like magazines.
What's your favorite 3 magazines, babe?
Favorite 3 magazines?
Yeah.
Well, right now I have a subscription to Log Home Living and Timber Frame Home Living or
That's
whatever
that
it's
good
called.
shit.
That is that good shit. They got some nice.
Looking at that like Playboys.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
woo!
yeah. Night. Look at them trusses. Yeah. Oh my God. Clawfoot bathtub. Oh my God.
That's what happens when you get older.
Look at the
get
sinks
married.
on that. Look at the sinks on that fucking countertop. Yeah, for
Is that
sure.
an 8-foot kitchen island?
Yeah. That's funny. All right. So we'll move on to the next category. The last category of this is 3 things to listen to.
All right, and I chose music for 3 things to listen to.
Oh, did you? What else?
I got A Lesson in Romantics.
Okay.
Mayday Parade.
That's good.
Always a hitter. Never bad.
Never bad.
I really did think about like what Lady Gaga album is like my Desert Island Lady Gaga album, and it has to be art pop.
Yeah.
I feel like I loved Born This Way, like always loved Born This Way, always love the first one.
Why are you looking at me like I know?
Whatchamacallit?
I don't know.
The first one. The first album. I can't remember what it's called. But art pop is like her like really branching off into others, like stuff that's
Telephone?
more artsy.
Telephone's on there? What's Telephone on?
Telephone's on.
Which one would
Born
Beyonce?
This Way, I think.
Is that Telephone with Beyonce? The music video with Beyonce?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Artsy shit. Lady Gaga's a wild one.
Yeah, she's, oh my God, love her. Went to Las Vegas earlier this year with a couple of my friends. The best.
Yeah.
Just to see Lady Gaga. It
Pretty
was the best.
wild.
And then I put Lana Del Rey down. I don't like know any specific albums of hers, but like I vibe with it.
Okay.
That's my jam.
That's good. I feel like that would be depressing to me.
Lana?
Listen, being on a desert island all day forever, listening to Lana Del Rey,
But like I got the other good
hang
shit
myself
too.
in a second. No, I'm just kidding. But if you think about it,
That's
like
her goal.
Mayday Parade, that whole Lesson in Romantics is fucked up.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's good though. It's good. All right. So the second to last question that I ask everyone is a death row meal.
And I would have to answer with some kind of brunch, breakfast situation.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm not a picky person. If I was on my death row and they said, all right, you could choose between 3 different places for brunch, I'd be like, whatever, surprise me.
Yeah.
Brunch is brunch. But the kind of like quirk to that would be bottomless coffee.
Yeah.
Has to be coffee.
Okay. That's good. I would give you Bloody Marys too if you'd like. All right. So,
Yeah.
and what else did I want to ask you real quick? Oh, if you had to choose a Halloween candy to take with you, if you had to choose a Halloween candy to eat for the rest of your life and you were only allowed to eat one type of candy for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Reese's Cups.
Reese's Cups? Mm-hmm. For the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about that today.
Because like my second favorite candy that I never have but like love it is Heath bars, but I couldn't just chew on toffee for the rest of my life.
Like a Heath bar.
Oh my God, Heath bars are so good. At least with a Reese's, like if I'm gonna be on a desert island, I'm getting a little protein out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Bop, toss them right in. All right. So the last question that I ask everyone on my podcast is, if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
And I had to think long and hard about this because I was telling you earlier, I do not care about like famous people. I don't care about like politics or anything like that really.
Yeah.
But I would 100% want to talk to Jeffree Star.
Ooh, that's such a good answer.
Is that a good answer?
Yeah.
Good.
That's,
I thought you were going to make fun of me for that answer.
No,
but I
no.
love Jeffree Star.
Yeah, I would.
I know somebody who's going to make fun of me once she hears this podcast, but
I mean, Jeff is a That's a great answer, because I feel like Jeffree Star is like one of the, I mean, if you were an emo kid, he might be on the Mount Rushmore of like emo kids, kind of like that whole like.
Look how he has ascended
Exactly
from that like shithole MySpace,
like the cereal,
picture,
like the
yeah,
puke cereal,
cereal,
where he's like white as a piece of paper,
and he's singing about like hair dryers or whatever the fuck he's singing about.
And now he's the biggest makeup business mogul of all time.
He's
like right now, not of all time. That's a little bit much.
More
but
money than probably like 90% of all those makeup YouTubers put together.
But it's weird because we sit there and we think like whenever, you know, Antonette does this makeup and shit like that, so she puts on YouTube videos, and like I remember whenever I first saw that you were watching him, I was like, is that fucking Jeffree Star? And you were like, yeah. And after I started watching more of them,
a beauty blogger, or vlogger, or whatever you want to call it.
But he does it in such a good way. Like after I started watching them, I was so into it because like, you know, I just kept thinking of like what he was on MySpace to what he is now. Like people send him makeup to review on his channel.
Yeah, I mean, they do that with everybody.
I get that, but like his word is gospel. And,
to so many people. And it's funny to think about now because like when I talk to my younger cousins who are like 14 and 15 and I say, do you like Jeffree Star? And they're like, eh. And I'm like, that's because you don't know what he came from.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
That's true. Yeah, definitely an interesting dude, though. I really, I get down with that. That's a really good answer.
Thanks. I had to think about it.
All right. Well, babe, we made it. Third podcast in the books. You're a very special person to have 3 of them.
Thank you.
We're going to do another one next year.
Loving me. Thank you for being there. Thanksgiving's on its way.
Thanksgiving on its way. Shout out to Bob's Burgers. Yeah. Definitely got to watch that. Go ahead, plug whatever you want to plug, babe.
I mean, I don't really have like plugs. Like I got my little business at Antonette Medved MUA on Instagram is my bridal makeup business. I think it's Antonette Medved Makeup on Facebook. And that's like it. You probably don't care enough to follow my personal Instagram.
Yeah. And Antonette posts pictures of me.
Sure
sleeping.
do. Taking a little nap. So if you like makeup and you like Chad and you want to see pictures of Chad sleeping, that's the place to do it.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on here and talking to me. I love you very much.
I love you.
We're married and you're forced to be with me forever. But everyone else listening, I appreciate you as usual. October was a very interesting month. We had Bobby Cranmer. We had Kevin Drobish. My fucking throat's a piece of trash right now. It ain't helping me out. Kevin Drobish. We had Leslie Gray. And then we had the wonderful Antonette Medved, who just put a fucking ring on our kitchen table. And you know what?
Table's destroyed.
Whenever I did that about a month ago, Antonette about lost her damn mind.
Yeah, well, now I know how to fix this. I'm going to fix it.
Yeah, I bet. Anyway, I appreciate everyone as usual. We got some merch left. I'll call you right back.com. Got some Drew t-shirts, hoodies left. I think there's only like 2 sizes of hoodies left, but slide on over there and grab something. 93 episodes is insane to me. I got 7 more weeks until episode 100, and I mean, I'm being transparent with you guys. I'm working on something, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm working on something, and I'm going to try my best to make it something cool, so... Jesus, my throat's a piece of shit. Anyway, I appreciate everyone listening as always, and I'll call you right back.